Hi there, welcome to this tutorial. My name's David and I work for TAC Amateurs, and what we're going to do today is save a movie clip that has been captured on my lovely gorgeous high definition video camera and process the video so it's better for Tinterweb, because large high definition quality cameras produce files that are way too big. I have on the screen here my video that I recorded earlier. So here's one I've done earlier in true Blue Peter fashion, and you can see from the size of it, it is 858 megabytes, which is way too big for the web. You can see there it's 5 minutes 15, which is bang on the length of videos would say it's about approximately the right size. Now, what I will do is, if you want the information on your movie because you're not sure where you might be going wrong, just simply right mouse click it, select properties, and up pops this little window about your video, and over here you can see under details important stuff: length 5 minutes 15 seconds, frame width and height 1920 by 1080, so that's a widescreen video, the data rate, which is 22,017, ignore the 17, let's just say 22,000, so 22,000 kilobits a second, i.e. 22 megabits per second, is approximately 19 megabits per second too many. Gorgeous, lovely, high quality video, but no good for the web at the moment. People just haven't got the infrastructure in place, especially in this country, for high speed broadband, unless you live in the middle of cities where you've got cable. And I would have thought in the Americas it's got to be very similar. However, so what we're trying to do is create a video that's good for, let's say, a global village. Copyright Apple, about 90 something. Right, so what we're going to do first then is, I'm going to leave this open because this is quite important. The frame rate, the data rate, and also the frames per second of the video is also important. If you're European based and you use PAL, then generally it'll be on 25 frames per second, although strictly speaking modern interlaced and progressive videos, it's irrelevant. However, if you're in the Americas, chances are your frame rate will be 29.97 or even 30 frames a second, sometimes round them up. The trick is leave it whatever it is. So if you record at 25, leave it at 25. If you record at 30, leave it at 30. You'll just get a far smoother video. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do then is open this file up. So if you right mouse click and do open with, Windows Live Movie Maker, freely available. If you have a PC, just go to Windows Live, download it and install it, simple as that. We're going to select that, and our gorgeous, lovely, superb video opens up. Now if this is the first time you've opened this video, down here you will get a little ching come up saying optimizing video for playback. Just let it do it, because it is an enormous video in this case, and to make it play in a video size this size so you can just whiz through it and that sort of thing, it's got to optimize it. So just let it do it. It could take quite a while, 5-6 minutes, something like that, for a 5-minute video, so just let it run its course. Now the first things you want to do, I'm not going to teach you how to edit within Windows Live Movie Maker. This is purely to export the video. But one thing you should be aware of is your project setting here. If you see here, if you've got the project in the incorrect setting, i.e. a widescreen production in a non-widescreen format, you'll get these black bars above and below. So just make sure you've got the right one. I'm guessing if you've got a lovely high quality camera, it's going to be widescreen. So click it on widescreen, but if you ever get these black bars, you know where it is. Project, widescreen. There we go. Right, so what we want to do now then is create a template, as it were, to be able to export our movie that's ideal for TAC currently. So if you go into your save movie from this little pull down option, it used to be called export movie in older versions. Don't know why they changed it. I think export is far better, because save to me sounds like you're saving the project, but of course they've put project up here and save as. But it's the movie we're interested in. You get all these recommended settings, common settings, and mobile device settings. We're professionals, we don't need any of those. We're going to create our own. So just click on create, and you get this little window pop up. Now if you remember back at the ranch, we had this window. Now this currently tells us our settings of our video, and this is what we're going to save them as. So what we're going to do is create a setting where you only have to click this once. So once you've done this, you don't have to do this again, but I'm guessing you probably record video for other things as well. So if you look here, our frame width and height is 1920 by 1080. Ignore any of the numbers there, yours could be different from what I've got. This is just what it was previously. But a 1920 by 1080 is pretty big actually. I mean, you think about your dimensions of your monitor. If you're using a laptop like I am here, the dimensions of this one is whatever it is, but it's close to filling up the whole screen, which is far from ideal. Reducing it slightly does actually make it take longer to process the video, but it's only marginal if you keep the aspect ratio correct. Now if you've got 1920 by 1080, that is definitely a widescreen. I personally would go for either a 960 by 540 or, hey, let's just say 1280 by 720. Let's create quality for our customers, shall we? So 1280 by 720, and it's already there, but essentially you just type in whatever size you wanted. So if you wanted to do 960 by 540, simply type there, there you go, and it will create a video in that size. But as per here, well, that's 1920 by 1080. I'm going to stick with the 1280 by 720 because I think that is probably right for my cat as it walks across the garden. Okay. Now the next bit is the bit rate. Now this is the big bit that everybody gets confused at. It is the data rate. The total bit rate is your bit rate of your audio plus your bit rate of your video, and it comes up to 22273. So in other words, our bit rate is 8,000 kilobits a second. Now audio format is 128, so that will come out 8,128. It's as simple as that. It's straightforward maths. It's not stupid. It's not difficult. Anybody can do it. So our data rate here is 22,000 megabits or kilobits per second. So 22,000, as I said, is way too big, and 8,000 is way too big. We'd suggest 3,000. Now interesting, if you look down here, it says estimated file size per minute of video, and so if we do 22 in there, 158 megabytes per minute of video. Bear in mind your maximum currently at TAC is 200 megabytes, so you could only do a minute and a quarter of video that way. Ridiculous, and it's just too big. It's way too big. So if we put it something sensible such as 3,000, you can see here estimated file size 22.37. Now if you multiply 22.37, I've got a calculator here to do the maths with, times that by, what was it, 5 minutes, our video clip, wasn't it? Oops, can't even use a calculator. 22.37 times 5, that comes out at 111 megabytes, which you have to admit is pretty darn doody, and I guarantee the quality will be pretty good. So if you're feeling a bit low, you can put out the 4,000 if you want, not 45, 4,000. There you go, 30 megabyte per minute. So 5 minute clip, 180 meg. Go for 4 kilobits a second if you prefer 4,000. Anyway, I'm going to do 3, just purely for this demo. And if you remember what I said about frames per second, I'm in England, so that's European and therefore PAL. 25 frames per second. This is obviously Microsoft's American, and so they've set it up for NTSC as default. So we're going to change that. We were at 25 frames per second. We're going to leave it at 25 frames per second. Now, in order for you to know what you've created and use again in future, bear in mind you only have to do this once. We're going to give it a name, and we're going to call it TAC, hey, because that's who we are. And just so you can remember what it is you're saving, there we go, that's what we're going to call it. Click save. This will then say it's automatically given you the file name of that, which I'd suggest you keep, just so you know exactly what it is, and click save. And now when we go up to this menu, you see all these presets here. Ta-da! We've got it. Anyway, we'll say our movie's now edited. We've done everything what we want to it. So now we're going to save the movie, and this time we've got our preset setting. We're just going to click save, and we're going to save it exactly to the same place of where it was. So I'm now going to hit save from there. And it starts saving the movie. Okay, then that's just coming up to complete. 99%. It always pauses a little bit at 99%. Don't ask me why. It's probably evaluating bits, doing checksums and all sorts of things like that. And there we go. That's finished. It goes beep in my case. And you've got the option to play your movie. Open the folder or just close this window. Ordinarily I just hit close, but we're going to open the folder where it's saved the movie to, and you can quite clearly see here for our two movies, there's the original one, there's the one we've just created. The old MTS file, which is the camera native size, camera native format that my Canon camera uses, and our new WMV file here, and you can see the type has changed as well. It's now a WMV file. Importantly though, you can see the length of the movies is the same, 5 minutes 15 seconds, and the really important thing is the size of the files, 121 meg. We calculated 111, wasn't it? That was obviously the other 15 seconds which I didn't calculate for, so 121 is fine. And if you just right mouse click there and go to properties, go to details, you can see now 5 minutes 15 seconds, 1280 by 720, data rate 3000 kilobits per second, total bit rate 3128 because our bit rate for audio is 128, and the frame rate 25 frames per second, which is just what we wanted. There we go, that's all ready to upload. Just need now to give it a number and a name. Well, that's my first movie, so 001, and Michael movie clip, or whatever you want to call it. And off we go. Send it via FTP, I'll get it posted.